Solving the layer types exercise. Hi, I'll start with the obvious warning. In this video, I will show you how I solve the layer types exercise. If you haven't done it by yourself, I urge you to stop the video right now and try it yourself. Okay, let's get started. Task number 1 asks us to separate the trees on the canvas based on their layer type. You can approach this in several ways. You can focus on the layers panel alone, on their respective thumbnails, or you can select them from the canvas from the left towards the right. This is best done by using the control-click technique. This will allow you to select them quickly and check out their layer type. I'll use this opportunity to show you a cool feature you may know about. It's this area here above the layers panel, and this allows you to search through your layers. By default, it's set to filter your layers based on their type: rasterized, adjustment layer, text layer, shapes, smart objects. I want to search by name because I can see all trees have the same name. So I'll change this drop-down and I'll write in tree. Great, now we see there's several layers, some rasterized, while some are still smart objects. I'll select the raster ones and I'll move them about so I can identify them on the canvas. Okay, I see 3 are already on the right and 1 is on the left. Let's move that one with his friends. My advice is not to deselect by using the control key. Instead, I'll try to select another random layer from the canvas. This will return an error because you can't select the sky, for example, if this filter is activated. Photoshop is told to show you layers that are called tree, but now you're instructing it to select a layer called sky. That won't work. You first have to disable it by clicking on this small red button, and then you'll be able to select another layer. Okay, get that tree from the left side and move it with the rest. For the smart objects, I could manually identify them and move them one by one, but I want to show you another glimpse into the alignment tools from up top. First, I'll get all the trees that are smart objects. Remember, this is their symbol on the thumbnail. Then, because we already decided the rasterized layers will sit on the right, I'll align all these trees to the left side by using this command, align left edges. Now they're all bunched together, and the task told me to sort them from front to the back, so let's not be lazy about it. The process will be fairly simple. I'll select them one by one and I'll move them towards the center of the canvas. The first one is fine as it is. The second tree is partially cut, so I'll leave that there. This one can be placed near the road, this one should follow suit, and the last one should finish up this line of trees. The stacking order doesn't make sense, so let's make an adjustment. The last one should be above these other 2, that's the first step, and the last 2 should swap their positions. Fantastic stuff. You might have arranged them differently, but what I'm looking for is this order, where the tallest is at the back, and as you move into the foreground, the trees get shorter and shorter. Let me move these more so I'll be happy with their alignment. I like to take these exercises seriously, so I expect the same thing from you. Plus, when you're done, I'd love to see your result in the comments section. Okay, this is done. Now I'll repeat the process on the right side, but this time I'll speed things up. No sense in seeing the same thing twice. I want to get a somewhat similar line to what we have on the other side. It seems only 1 layer needed repositioning in the layers panel, so that's good. Okay, we're done with this first task. Step 2 is to rasterize all shape layers. Ideally, for you to practice, you should have had a long look in the layers panel to check for this thumbnail. To keep it short and sweet, I'll use the layers panel filter yet again. I'll reactivate it, but I'll change the drop-down to kind. Then I'll select this second to last icon that shows me all the shape layers in my project. After I've selected them all with the help of the Shift key, I'll right-click and I'll choose Rasterize Layers. You probably had to do that manually, but it's good practice to sort through all these layers. This is why I made the PSD so messy. Right, let's go with task number 3. I won't show you that filter again, no more shortcuts for me. Instead, I will rely on my dexterity to select all these layers from the canvas quickly. Follow me on this. I'm holding down the Control key when I select my first tree from the left. Now I'll continue to hold it, but I'll also add Shift. Now I'll click on every other tree. Once I get them all, I'll use Control G to create a group. Let's rename it to Raster Trees. I'll repeat the process on the right side. Aim for blazing fast speed. Now for the second part of the task. I'll move Color Balance above my raster trees in the Layers panel. Next, I'll use Ctrl-Alt-G to create a clipping mask. I'll repeat the process with Vibrance. One thing I didn't mention but I hope you noticed is that adjustment layers are not present on the canvas. They have no pixels, they just modify existing pixels and that's it. There are exceptions with these three options here. For example, the fill layer acts similarly to a rectangle that's filled with a particular colour. So that places new pixels on the canvas, but others like colour balance or vibrance don't. Task 4 is easy as there are only 4 in the project, but you may have noticed that sometimes it's hard to select them. That happens in particular with the top left text because it's been rasterized. So when you try to select it, it no longer has an invisible rectangle around it. See the difference when you try to select "Good luck." It's far easier. Here I'll use my filter yet again and group them. After you disable the filtering, you won't see the new group selected, but I can see it's the unnamed one. Let's call that text. Finally, we'll make the hands and the bike black and white. Our first step is to identify this layer or group in the Layers panel. Here it is, it's called bike. While on it, let's go to the yin-yang symbol and choose black and white. This affects everything under it, so let's create a clipping mask with Ctrl-Alt-G. Great stuff, we're done. I hope you've enjoyed the process and learned a few new things too. Let's continue.